Hello, Aida.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you for taking out the time. It's lovely to have you here.
Thank you for having me. This will be really, really fun.
Yeah, I can already feel that. Tell us a bit about yourself, Aida, your education, your background. Who are you?
Oh, wow. That's a question I've been asking myself my whole life.
That's a tough one.
I am a person that can't have one title. So I'm doing a lot of stuff. I was born in Bosnia, but I grew up in Sweden. And I did the regular journey, go to school. What do you want to be when you grow up? I still don't know. um, so I just shifted the whole thing to do what I think is fun and that can help someone else. So that's where I'm at right now. I do my baseline is communication. I work with people. I work with you can say that whatever I'm working at, it has something to do with building building people and building self-confidence, because I believe that if everyone has great self-esteem, then everyone will create what they are good at, and that will in turn help someone else. So I believe in mind strength and in strong people.
That's very interesting. That's extremely interesting. And being an
My tiny
educationist,
tiny vision.
it's a huge vision. I suppose that's one of the most important things that are at the base of everything that we do is how we feel about things and what passion we carry. Being an educationist myself, I can't help myself asking this question. I ask all our guests, what part do you think your schooling played in shaping this wonderful entrepreneur that you are today? How was school a part of that?
uh, okay, I want to say stay in school. So do that.
Okay.
If someone is listening, stay in school. Uh, but actually, school didn't help me at all in my journey to. If anything, it slowed me down.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I want schools um, to have personal development programs, and there are so many things that I learned during my career and my search um, for a job or a career path that I really loved. So that kind of set me back a few years, because in school you're taught that these are the things you can do, and these are the different jobs you can choose from. But nobody told me that you can create something entirely new. So
Mm-hmm.
I do believe, of course, that school is important for general knowledge, but school did nothing for me in my career path.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So all the leadership skills that you have today, the communication skills that you have today, what would you say where you got them from along your journey? At what point did you think that you picked up all of that as part of your personality?
That's only one thing, that is being out there, talking to people, getting to know lots and lots of people, listen to their journeys, what they've been through, and how they find different paths in life. So I working with people, just being there, working with people, and meeting, talking to a lot of people. That I think that is the most important thing.
Yeah, I completely agree. And living in Sweden, that's something that you have to put a little extra emphasis on because that doesn't happen very naturally to build those kind of soft skills. So you would say that networking is something that has really helped you
Absolutely.
shape up.
Both in finding my own personality in terms of leadership, finding out how I interact with people, how other react and interact with
Yeah.
me, and that is I love school. I love learning new things, but you just need to be out in the real world.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's totally agree with that. What are you doing today? What are the things your business is? What are the different things that you're doing today?
Today, I am doing in-house coaching for Zenta. We've stepped it up a little bit this year, and we are developing a leadership program, just like what we're talking about now. I believe that everyone is a leader at some point. Then we have leaders that can lead other people, but you need to be a leader for yourself. And that's how we want to run things at Zenta. We want every employee to be his or her own leader. And this is something that we've been working on for the past year, both in terms of Corona, but also this is something we've been wanting people to do, that learn how to lead themselves. And also this is very important for self-esteem and everything. We want to at Zenta, we don't have it's not a hierarchy like in big organizations. We are all leaders, and we want everyone to feel confident that they can make their own decisions and develop themselves in their work. So in-house coaching is something that we've been working on this year. So I'm coaching our employees and also other leaders. And that has been a big success, actually. So now we are developing a leadership program that is based in self-esteem and how to set your own goals and
Wow, that sounds absolutely interesting. This is actually something that they should be teaching at schools.
I know. I know.
Yeah.
It's super fun. It's super. I'm very now. I'm technically still on vacation, so I'm really looking forward to when we just start again and now this fall and really kickstart this. It will be amazing.
I'm sure it would be. How did the idea come? At what point did you think that, all right, this is something I need to do? The idea for Zenta.
We want to, when we hire people at Zenta, we of course want people who know their stuff and know everything. They have the right competence and everything. Yeah. But mostly we want the right personalities. We want a person that fits in the group, because when a group works together well, then everyone feels safe and they feel like they can develop themselves. Yeah. And so we had this big plan of events and workshops, and we would be doing lots of events, and then Corona hit and destroyed all our plans. So we were all in our own houses thinking about how can we do this? We can't even see each other, so how do we do this? Yeah. And then we had since everyone is isolated at home, this brings up stuff in people. So this brings up insecurities about the future, and some people get depression, and it's tough being isolated, of course. And so when I started getting back a bit into work, because I have been on parental leave, then I was seeing this energy in the office, and I was thinking to myself, what everyone needs? Everyone needs coaching.
Yeah.
And since I am a coach, but I haven't been coaching at Zenta or employees in that way. So I just developed this whole new thing, this whole new idea. And so we tried it out. We said to our employees, but who wants to try coaching? And they were like, oh, is that like therapy? Because no, I don't need a therapist. And I was all like, no, it's nothing like therapy. I won't ask you about your childhood or your father or your mother. This is simply just to talk about your future goals and what you want to do. And you don't always know what you want to do. Yeah. We think we do, but we really don't when we are forced to say it, to verbally say it. And so we tried it out, and everyone that tried wanted more. And then they started their own projects in the office, outside the office, and then they wanted to follow up. And how can I do this? How can I do that?
Wow.
And so
Wow.
it started like that. And now
Awesome.
we do it. We will continue doing this.
Brilliant. So did you see that there was a need for this kind of thing in the ecosystem that you are currently working in? Did you feel that a lot of people needed this kind of thing?
Yes, I do, because we want people to feel safe in making their own decisions in their work. And we've been seeing that, let's say, for example, project managers, they don't always feel safe in taking the bigger decisions. And we are like, yes, do it, even if it turns out it's a big mistake, never mind, just do it. Be the leader that you need. And so we are taking risks, but not all people are risk takers, of course, and they want someone to tell them what to do.
Yeah.
And we want people to feel safe enough to make the mistakes. We want mistakes to be made.
Yeah, brilliant. That's
so that's I saw there was a need for that, and so I believe this will make an immensely huge difference when we review this at the end of the year.
Yeah, and you've said it so beautifully that we're conditioned to not make mistakes, and that way we don't take any risks. So yeah, brilliant work that you're doing. So what kind of customers do you have? What kind of people come to you for coaching?
From the beginning, it was all sorts of people. I wasn't entirely sure myself in what kind of people I want to coach, because you can coach anything or anyone. So, but it kind of made itself into this career achievement goals, So then I got a lot of clients, and I said to myself that this is really what I wanted to do. I want people to experience themselves in a new way. I want people to explore their strengths. You can't even imagine. People have no idea what they're capable of. They have no idea. They go home and they turn off. They turn on Netflix, and all their potential goes out the window.
Down the drain. Yes.
Yes. So I meet amazing people, and they show me their talents, and I'm like, why aren't you doing anything with this? Do something.
Yeah. I know the feeling. It's almost the same feeling that you have in a classroom when you go in as an educator and you see that there's so much potential, but people just don't know how to use it.
Yeah, exactly. And I want them to see it so that they can believe that, wow, this is really my thing. I can do something with this. So we need to get rid of the fear barrier.
Yeah. So is it like a one-time thing that you offer, or how do you make your customers come back to you once they've crossed the barriers? How do you keep your business?
This is not good for my business to say, but they don't need me more than once or twice, actually, depending on the problem or the issue. And I tell them that first session free, because we want to see if we can work with each other. If you trust me, if you don't trust me, we can't work together, and you will not trust yourself in the session. Most of my clients want a five session package. And then we set out a plan for those 5 sessions, and as they progress, as they develop their skills and everything, of course their goals also get higher, so they come back to me.
Yeah.
So bigger goals, new visions, or you don't get rid of the problems. When you solve one problem, you get a new problem else. Yes. So it's just a matter of what kind of problems you want. So they come back with their new, bigger problems. More inspiring problems, I want to say.
Yeah, and then it keeps on. That's how life works.
Yeah.
Wow, brilliant. So in your line of work, you meet a lot of people, and when you're talking to them, of course, there's a lot of exchange of energies. How do you make sure that you don't carry all that energy with you at home? There are all sorts of strong, heavy energies, and when you go home, it's more. The question is more about work-life balance. How do you make sure that you don't carry everything on your mind when you're going back home?
Well, I made the mistake of carrying everything around me and carrying it with me, taking it home. So I actually stopped coaching for 2 or 3 years. I didn't coach anyone. I just backed off and did something else. So that's something I wanted to work with myself first. So when I saw that this coaching thing is really, really fantastic, and I work with neurolinguistic programming. It's a way of programming our minds and feelings.
Yeah.
So it works for us and not against us. And as soon as I saw what it could do, I just threw myself in there, and I wasn't sure about what clients I wanted to work with, and I wasn't sure about how I wanted to work. So I was overwhelmed, and then I just stopped because it was too much. And that's when I really had to sit down and think about what kind of problems I want to work with, what I wanted to do. And when I solved that, the work-life problems wasn't the balance wasn't even hard to find, because then I knew what I wanted. And I knew what kind of people I wanted around me, what kind of people I wanted to work with. And so whenever I've had clients, I go home and I do 1 hour of heavy training, and then I'm set. Everything's fine.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So training is your thing. So that's how you
thing.
couple it off. Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. So when you meet your clients, when you meet people, what do you see as the biggest common problem that people have when they come to you?
Self-esteem. Everyone is concerned about what other people think. Everyone is concerned about how anyone else will, if anyone else will believe them or trust them or think they are good enough. So that's 100%. All my clients, we do work with this in some way.
Wow, that sounds so interesting. That must open up a whole new world for people with low self-esteem to come and talk about things. And then does that help them build their business when they go back to their businesses, having a higher self-esteem and having worked with you? Do you think that helps them?
Absolutely, because when you work on your self-esteem and you know yourself better, then you are not so terrified of making mistakes. You can make decisions, and you don't have to second guess yourself. You don't have to think about what your clients will think, what the customers will think, the customer isn't always right, and that's what they come back with. They are not always right. They can be holes.
Yes.
So when my clients get back, they are so much stronger in their leadership, in leading themselves in their daily life, but also in their businesses.
Yeah, brilliant. What mistakes did you make in your journey? What is it that you really learned from and you'd like to share with our audience here, that don't do this?
Okay. First, of course, I wasn't too sure about my decisions. I always wanted someone else's opinion first, so that someone else could verify that what I believe is right. That's a self-esteem issue. That's how it all started for me. I want to say don't take your work home, but my home is my work and my work is my home. So I also learned that is not the problem. The problem is not knowing what you want, what you really want, and why. When I got lost, and when I stopped coaching, and when I really crashed, that's when I found out that I am not really sure why I'm doing this. I'm not sure why I left a high-paying job to do my own stuff, to do my own things. I didn't know why. So that wasn't clear to me. I just knew I wanted, but that's not good enough for us to know that we want something. Sometimes the biggest curse is getting what you think you want. And so know what you want and why, and skip all the rest. The rest is just fluffy stuff.
Yeah. Wow, that's you put everything so beautifully, and everything sounds so simple. It just feels like,
Oh yeah,
problems are
it
gone.
sounds simple. Yes, it's
Yeah, but
it's
it's
not.
easier said than done, though.
Of
Yeah.
course, you have to give yourself time. We are very impatient creatures.
Yeah, that's true. Completely agree. Let's just move on a little bit to your dancing career as well. You're a dance trainer, and would you like to tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, I just fell into dancing in a weird way. I was a yoga I'm a yoga teacher, so I went to. I did 2 yoga teacher trainings, and then one day I was Facebooking, scrolling, wasting my life, like you do when you're tired and don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So, and I had this Facebook friend. She was doing pole dance, and she was climbing and doing all these tricks, and it looked amazing. And I was thinking to myself, why am I doing regular things on the floor when she can do these magical things on? Yeah, such power. And I'm always because I love training, I love strength training, I want to do things that require power. So I wanted to learn that. And the same day I decided that I want to buy a pole and see what happens. So I bought it. It arrived 3 days later, and I set it up one pole in my yoga studio. And that day I started. I tried it out. Of course, it was horribly hard. It was so tough, and I couldn't do anything. And that really intrigued me, because it made me mad, because I thought I was stronger than I was. And also it intrigued me because there is someone doing it, so I must be able to do it.
Yeah.
So we have the same functional body, so I must be able to do this. And when I that day I was in my yoga studio for 6 hours straight, just falling and hurting myself. But then that same day I decided that this is something more people need to try, because I noticed right away that it wasn't only about the body, about the strength. It was so much in my head. When I tried all these things, I realized I heard all my limiting beliefs so loud. They were so loud, and I could hear them. And I realized that this voice is talking to me like this every day, and I don't hear it. I don't hear it because I'm on the phone, I do stuff, I'm on Facebook, I listen to music, so I don't actually hear what's going on in the background. And then there I was. It was a silent day in the studio, and I was doing these things, and it brought out these thoughts, and I could hear them so loudly. So that's when 2 of my worlds just clashed, and I realized so many things. I learned a lot about myself, and then I thought to myself, no, this will not be me. I will not have this in my head. And so somewhere that day I decided that this is something more people need to try, to really challenge themselves and bring out all those fears and insecurities. And fear of falling from the pole or doing a yoga trick, it's not about the actual fear of falling on the floor. There's something else inside us. So that day I don't even know how I did this now when I think back. But I put on my website that I will be doing courses for 4 months later, after my vacation, and I couldn't do anything. So I gave myself the challenge that I would teach myself in 4 months to be able to teach someone else pole.
Wow.
And I that was very scary, very, very scary, but I was determined to teach. And so I gave myself 4 months, trained 5 hours a day, got inflammation in my muscles, and then I took a vacation for 3 weeks. And then I came back and realized what I had done, and people were it was fully booked. And then I started to panic a little bit. But then I gave myself no way out, no plan B, no bridges, no exit doors, and then there I was, and people were staring at me. We were there. And they were like, okay, what do we do now? And I was like, yeah, what do we do now?
Awesome. So razor sharp focus is something that brought you this, the discipline that you had on your physical body is something that helped you succeed in not just your dancing career, but also in your other businesses.
Absolutely, 100%. And so now I teach pole, I teach hip hop dance. Don't even ask me about that, but here we are. And training, functional body training and everything. So that's, you might think there are two different things, but all of this is one simple thing. It's what's in here.
Yeah, that's so true. Do you think being a woman or a foreign entrepreneur has been your strength, or has it been a hurdle? How has your journey been being a woman and a foreign entrepreneur here in Sweden?
For all women, I believe it's tougher than we think. I'm a very tough person. I've always had more male friends than girlfriends, but still I feel that something is different between men and women in regards of that, and also in a business like IT, but I lost that limit when I turned 30 years old, because before it's something shifted before after that, because before that I was a woman, I was a foreigner, and I was young. So basically in the eyes of some older men, I knew absolutely nothing. And anything I say is just girls talk, After 30, I had in my mind, like, I gave everything a finger. I gave everything the finger, and I was like, no, I really do know my stuff. I've been questioning myself for so many years, and I won't do that anymore.
So what advice would you, Aida, give to other female entrepreneurs or other people trying to make it like you did? What advice would you give them?
It's actually really simple. When someone is critiquing you or think they are critiquing you, look at how they live their lives and what kind of decisions they make in their businesses, in their work and everything. When I started to look at people like that, I realized that those who didn't take me seriously, or were critiquing me, or just giving me a hard time, I would see a real distinct pattern, and it was that they are the people who always whine at something. It's always someone else's fault. The boss is stupid, my wife is stupid, this one is stupid, everyone's stupid. So that no one can give you advice or critique in something they know nothing about, and they are always those kind of people that they haven't achieved what they wanted in life. So it's much easier to look at someone else.
So always listening to your own inner voice is something that gives you the strength.
Just feel sorry for them. Don't take them seriously.
Don't let them get under your skin. Yeah, perfect. But that's really good advice. Aida, we have a lot of questions here. Let's just pause for a moment and let's take some of the questions here. Okay, so Anna would like to know, what is Zenta's core line of business? Is it consulting or is it business development?
We are a digitalization agency. So we do, we started out doing websites, but we still do some websites, but we are digitalizing businesses. If that answers your question. We don't hire, we don't have consultants like we hire them or things like that, but we do digitalization projects. So say that if a business wants to be more digitalized in some way, maybe they have books and papers everywhere, we help them to archive it in a digitalized form. And also we do prototypes. We are working with if you have heard of SEFT, China, oh my god, they have such a long name. SEFT is automotive business.
Okay.
And so they wanted to digitalize a car, and we made a prototype of a car door that could project, say, a Skype call or something on the window. So we made the window so it could turn opaque or transparent, and put sound into the glass itself and everything. So that's the stuff we really love to do.
Beautiful. That's awesome. All sorts of innovation that's coming out. But I can't help noticing that you work with digitalizing and then you work with mindfulness, which are both like kind of opposites of each other. It's so beautiful how you've kept just the right balance between mindfulness and the other extreme, which is screen time or digitalizing.
Yeah. I see it like this. We can digitalize anything. We can make everything technical, but behind all of that is people. Behind all of that are people anyway. So we do digitalize because we want to help people save time and make use of their time better, so they can do something they really want and have a passion for. So behind all of this, all of these technical stuff are people.
There are brains and there are humans. Very well said. So let's move on to the next question. Farhan Sabir would like to know, can anyone be a leader? No, sorry. Can everyone be a leader?
Yes and no. Anyone can lead themselves. That's a kind of leader we often forget, because it takes some kind of a leader to lead yourself too. But no, not everyone can lead a group. Not everyone want to, and that's the main reason, of course, that not everyone can. We have very introverted people. They don't feel good about groups, and it's not always about self-esteem in that way. They're just introverted, and it's a personality trait. So no, not everyone can lead a group, but everyone can lead themselves. So in that regard, yes.
Absolutely. Anyone can be a leader, and perhaps more important than leading a group is to lead yourself more than anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. It takes a leader to lead your life, to lead your project, your family life, relationships. So that's kind of a leadership too.
Absolutely. There's another question that could this be due to social media, the self-esteem problem, comparing with each other and all the things that people put up on social media? It just forces everyone to kind of place themselves in a kind of a hierarchy. Do you think this is what's affecting our self-esteem?
Oh yes, absolutely. That's absolutely one of the things. We are exposed to so many people's lives now than we are naturally. Back in the days, you could just compare yourself to your neighbors or your friends, and the neighbor gets a new car, then you look at your old crappy car and need a new car, and but that was a very small amount of people. But now you scroll and you scroll and you see hundreds of people's lives every day, and there you are sitting with the chips in your soggy, dirty pants in the couch, and you think that everyone is on Ibiza and drinking tequilas. So social media is a problem like that, because we see everyone's polished life, and most of the accounts are not even real. They are not even, they're catfish. I don't know if you're if you know that term, catfish, someone who poses to be someone else. And then there's Photoshop, and then there's filters and everything.
There's so much.
Nobody wants to show you when they are miserable, of course. And everyone is at some point. Absolutely. Social media is a big problem like that.
Absolutely. Just connected to this question would be, my question would be that, do you see a solution to that in your line of work? Do you think that how can you help people not getting affected by social media? Because you're working both with digitalizing, you're working with mindfulness. Do you feel that there can be some sort of innovation here?
I actually heard of, just the other day, I heard of someone wanted to, I don't know if it was if it was an organization or a person, but someone wanted to make influencers reveal their real pictures without filters, without injections and Botox. Whenever an influencer makes money on something, they wanted to make them show the real picture as well. And that is a real good innovation. If we're talking innovation, that is something fantastic, because I could say that, of course, everyone should work on their self-esteem, and every adult can go to a coach or a therapist or talk to someone and work on themselves, of course. But then we have these very, very young people. We have very young girls, we have very young boys, and they don't get this in school. They don't get this in school. They don't know how to work on themselves from the start. And they have TikTok from whatever, 11 or 13 years.
Even younger,
Even younger, yes. So we are starting off very young people with no tools to handle themselves, and then we put them on. You create good consumers. That's what we do, and then you have to fix problems when you're adult.
Yes, that's so true. And fixing problems at that age is super tough.
Yep.
So we move on to the next question. Linda would like to know, do entrepreneurs first need to work on their why? How should they do this? How to work on your why? Why do you want to do something?
Yes, absolutely. This is whatever, either it's in entrepreneurship or business or your own personal life. Whenever we take on a bigger project, we should always start with why. That's more important than who and what, actually, because if I know why, then the what won't be so tough when we hit that plateau. In the beginning, everything is fun and motivating and inspirational, but that will wean off, and it will tear you apart if you don't know why you are doing things.
Yeah, and you're a living example of the fact that once you know your why, then there's no stopping.
Exactly. Then every problem is much, much smaller.
Yes. Svenja says that I feel like knowing what you want is the hardest part most of the times, though. Any suggestions on how to pursue that path? How do you know what you want? For me, it feels like I want everything.
Yeah, yes, I'm the same. I also want everything.
Yeah.
There are many tools for this. One of them is going backwards. If you do, this is one of the exercises I do with my clients. when working with these questions. It's go backwards. Set yourself at an age where you think it's too late to do anything. Set yourself, think 20, say 20 years from now, and go backwards. What has happened for you to be a happy, whatever year old person, and you feel like you're fulfilled? Your life has gone exactly the way you want to, and then go backwards year by year by year. What has happened? And then there are classical, like more classic tools, like what makes you happy? What makes, you know, when you're doing something and time seems to just disappear, and then 3 hours went by. What have you been doing during that time? And no, Netflix doesn't count.
No, it doesn't count. Okay. So is it good to have a plan B? Or we talked a lot about burning bridges and, you know, just diving right in. But as an entrepreneur, it's also wise to sometimes have a plan B. What is your take on this?
I believe that when you are full on stressed and when you're on fire, you do your best work. So I am a big believer of no plan B. And so I have a method for this. I have a plan B and a plan C. No, a plan A and a plan C. I'm sorry. No plan B, because plan B usually is something that is good enough for you. And when you have something to fall back on that is good enough, then you won't set yourself out for that, what you really, really want. When you have a plan B, good enough is good enough. You know, people will often do something that makes them less happy because it's something they know and are comfortable with, instead of doing something harder that will make them very, very happy. Just because there's unknown territory there. So have a plan A and a plan C. Plan C is something that is, you know, when you need to use plan C, you have failed, because that's not something you want.
True.
Comfortable plan B. Just lose the cushion.
Yes. So don't settle for less. Just go for it. Yeah. Perfect. Startup Hub wants to know, how do you see artificial intelligence? It's the thing now. Do you think it will lead to long-term loneliness and people become more machine dependent? Will human relationships suffer? What do you think about IA?
I think we are already there. We are already where people feel lonely, very, very lonely, and especially, well, if we don't count these two last years, it's been like this for years and years, when you feel like you have friends when you're online, but as soon as that screen is turned off, you realize that you are very, very lonely. If you also see statistics of how many times you wake up your phone during a day, that some people can't handle 5 minutes of silence. And when I say to someone that they should meditate, they go in panic mode right away. So we are already there, and I absolutely believe that this will. It's not a good. We are not developing in the way we should. So machines absolutely, and AI will take over where there should be more human interaction instead. But I do have some hope, because I believe that we will stop this in the right way, in the right time.
And I guess COVID has kind of prepared us a little bit for that kind of a scenario as well, where people can get lonely.
Not everything is doomy and gloomy. I think many of us realize that being outside in the nature just because someone told us we can't, so that's of course what we want. And we will move more towards that.
Yeah, so true. Before we move on to any other questions, Aida, let's just talk a little bit about Växjö and the startup ecosystem over there. How would you describe the startup atmosphere in Växjö? How do you see it? Do you see it as a tech city, a city for entrepreneurs, a city for female entrepreneurs? What would you say?
What will I say? We do have amazing competence here in Växjö. We have great people that are really, really good at their stuff, but no one hears them. And doesn't matter how many, I've been in so many groups and networks and everything, but when we come to that point that we need to take risks and work together, then you can just hear the silence. There's too much fear, and startups, no, I don't believe this is the place for startups, actually. And I do see that startups, they may be born here, but they are moving to somewhere where they can be heard. I believe in Växjö, and we are the city is growing physically, but mentally, no. We are not there yet. We need
what do you think what do we require to be there?
We need more risk takers. We need more disruptive leaders. We need more people that speak, that really speak and don't care what the status quo is. We need more loud mouths in the right way, of course. We need to work together more, but I see too much fear, sadly.
Yeah, people like to remain in their comfort zone, and they need more people.
It's awfully cozy there. Many people want to be there.
Yeah. True that. All right. So, what networks are there in Växjö for entrepreneurs, or if you want to meet like-minded people who want to work on new stuff, or maybe risk takers, or people who want to take new initiatives? Are there any networks that you could suggest in Växjö?
We had one network I did believe in is Digitalizing for digitalization and IT businesses. Don't know what they're up to right now, because I think everything dissolved a little bit during Corona. But everything is getting back on their feet now. So I think more of these groups will appear. So just stay on the lookout, and it will come. And also, I would suggest for anyone that needs a network like this, start one.
Yeah.
This is the time to be a leader. This is the time when everyone is expecting someone else to start the engine. But be the leader here. If you need someone, then go out, call people, do something, and then more and more will appear.
Yeah, and this is exactly the kind of thing that we at Startup Grind are trying to do, trying to build a network where like-minded people can come and others can learn from their journey. And this is a step in that direction. So all of you in the audience, keep an eye on this network, and we have some amazing stuff coming on as well in the future as well. Well, then we have another question for you, Aida. More risk takers in entrepreneurship or in government and public sector? Where would you like to see?
Wow, I would love risk takers in the government. Wow, we need those.
That's the dream.
Wow, I didn't even think about it, because it sounds so alien to me. Because whenever any good idea appears, and where it stops, it's where the government is.
Yes.
So yes, we would absolutely need more risk takers there, but I think they will come, and absolutely entrepreneurs. They are risk takers already, because you need to be brave to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And so just do what you do and believe in it, because time will tear us down. You know, when you believe in something, you are so motivated, and then it takes a bit of time, and then you lose it. You start to question yourself and question everything. But that's when we really need to push.
Yeah, it's easy to get the momentum, but to keep it going is something that requires effort. But
Oh yes.
I really love the fact that Sweden has such young politicians. The other day we were speaking to the deputy mayor of Växjö, who started his political journey when he was 18. He was elected for the local council. So I think the younger you are, the more risk-taking abilities or skills you have as you grow older. You tend to be more on the safe zone. Would you agree?
I would agree, yes. I would agree, yes. Also, you could argue that someone very young doesn't really see the risks or doesn't have any life experience, but that's we need the minds of those who haven't been around for a long time, because they have the capacity of seeing something that doesn't exist yet. They are still very imaginative, while the older ones, they do what they've always done.
Yeah.
So that's very good. That's very good.
Brilliant. Linda, I would like to know, do you have a mind hack, a quick way of working on multiple stuff or projects? Because you, Aida, yourself have so many different ideas and you're working on multiple things. So you'd be the perfect person to answer this question. What do you do? How do you manage so many different things?
Wow, I have lots of mind hacks. One of them, if working on different projects or different businesses, I block out time. My calendar is like any other calendar where I put my meetings and everything, but I block out times that I don't know yet what I'm going to work on, but I block that time for a specific project. So I have Tuesdays where I do the coaching, and then I have Fridays that are for a project like the Zenta project. Then I have Thursdays where I do my personal training clients and everything. So block out time. And but the mind hack that has helped me the most is when working on something, and this works every time. Do the absolutely smallest part you can imagine. The smallest part. We often get stuck in thinking about what needs to be done, like the whole task. But what is this absolutely smallest thing that I can do? If it's opening up my computer, okay, then that's one step, that's one thing. And then what's the next smallest part that I can do? That makes me always move forward. I always move forward because I always think, what's the smallest, tiniest thing I can do right now?
How interesting that is. Just take baby steps and just in the right direction.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So baby steps are smaller than we think.
Yeah, but they take you where you need to be. Let's see if we've missed any questions. We're running out of time. Either we can talk for hours. There's so much that we can learn from your journey, but I guess we'll have to end this session here. But before you leave, I'd like to let you know how happy we are for you to be here, how thankful we are, and for you to take out the time and share all of these things with us. If you could leave us with some concrete tips, do's and don'ts, some advice for the upcoming entrepreneurs, for women, for anyone who would like to break the barriers, anyone who would like to take risks, what would be your tips for that?
Yeah, the first one is for laser sharp focus, just baby steps. Don't let any decision take more than 5 seconds. 5 seconds tops, then you get moving. Just move. Get out of the chair or whatever you're sitting on. Just stand up, and then the motion is set. It's all about setting motion. Motivation is a myth. Don't ever believe in motivation. It's like the tooth fairy. There is no motivation. There's only mind strength. You need to push yourself. and motivation will always leave you. As soon as when you're the happiest and everything is going well, the day after, the motivation will be gone. So you need to be prepared. What else? Write a lot. Just write, because when you challenge your thoughts by writing them down, you will see what actually works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
Just
Perfect.
write, tear it apart and then throw it away. You don't have to keep a journal or anything. Just write down what you're thinking.
Yeah. Just the act of writing gives you so much clarity.
Yes, it all comes back to action. You need to do something. You need to stand up, and then you're on the move. You need to write it down, then you have started something. Action is what starts everything.
Yeah, rather than waiting for motivation, just go on, set everything in motion, and then the motivation comes on later.
Yeah, the action starts the motivation, not the other way around.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much once again, Aida. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Lovely people who have joined us today, and have a wonderful, wonderful evening, a great rest of the summer, and take care of yourselves. Goodbye.